I apologize for doing this without the PowerPoint. I was hoping for an internet connection, but since it is not available, you will have to bear with me. So the beginning of our new concept of the language skills classes at the Department of English in Novi Sad was actually trying to figure out what's wrong and why it is that we do have so many classes dedicated to language skills every year, and yet we seem not to get students who are able to actually perform, to actually do something with it. The beginning was the analysis, but the possible courses of action actually were focusing on the fields that you can see on board. So we decided that although it is quite useful to rely on common European framework for languages, it should not be the purpose in itself. So we should not focus on achieving, say, B2 or C1 level in general English, because that is not what a student of English language is actually required to be able to do later. So we focused on text linguistics, text typology, rhetorics, and visual literacy, and on content production, in order to develop a strategy to work through 4 years of English language practice, practical classes, so language skill classes. Okay, now I shall shift to what the experimental result in the 3rd year was. I think I will shift, okay. Here it is. This is the course I actually designed and developed and actually managed to put in action last year in the summer or the spring semester. I called it Rhetoric of Textual Culture because that was the most available field that would actually introduce research and sort of autonomous work for the students, and would be also interesting enough to motivate them to participate, not just for the grade, of course. So if we go up here to the course description, and I apologize again for not being able to do it properly. Sorry. Okay. The course itself focused on critical thinking and reading. It generally applied research in humanities, and it was supposed to produce transferable productive skills. So once the students are able to perform a research project, which would be a teamwork and they would have to do on their own in the field of popular culture, they would be probably able to apply the same skills in different fields. This also meant general language competence and specific skills development, but it was not the purpose in itself. So the purpose of the course was not to just develop language skills or work on that. How it was organized, they had to do quite a lot, and they had to do quite a lot by themselves. So first part was contact classes, lectures in class, and an online learning space that we all sort of contributed to. There was 34 contributors to the online space. They had to produce a number of things. The first one was a portfolio, which was literacy, sorry about the spelling, so literacy narrative, and reading journals. Another thing they had to produce was an omnibus research project. They were grouped in groups of 4 around the topic, and we'll discuss that a bit later. Then they had to write their own research, which was not very extensive. The writing project wasn't that big. And they had to perform a Pachakcha presentation, which is in itself a very formal way of presenting, and with the limitations, it actually requires very high language skills and planning in order to be performed successfully. The last part of the course was the written exam that we were obliged to administer. So the course objectives were to, ouch. to introduce independent research, to present, to actually enable students to present their personal skills and their own ideas to others in order to formulate a research project in the future as a part of their motivation letters or ways that they could actually apply when they go to seek for further education or to apply as researchers on projects, and to develop a critical approach to popular culture, including their own, so not just the one coming from abroad or, I don't know, the one generated here as well. So the course topics is what we are going to focus on next. The first topic was a presentation of one's personal experience, which was done in a format of a bio blurb through the literacy narrative. They were supposed to conduct and to learn about popular culture by conducting semiotic analysis, especially related to the identity of the subject or themselves, so related to gender and class. They were supposed to focus on visual literacy, reading, how we read images, how do we determine purposes and audiences when reading images. And the project topics, the actual topics of their research, were consuming passions, advertising, and television that are actually related to the literature that we had to use, so the reading list they had. And these were some of the projects. Unfortunately, here we cannot access the projects, but in the online version, it was all interlinked. So perhaps sometime later I will be able to show everything. The rest of the topics were advertising and television. And the final Pečekuća presentation, they all had to perform one each. So this is a very short format. It is 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but a very strict format, 20 slides, each slide lasting for 20 seconds. And basically it allows you to say about 60 words per slide. You need to time precisely in order to not to either stand mute while the slides change and or speak very fast in order to be able to finish off the presentation before the slide changes. So the topics were about what stars, where all stars, so it's about the actual products that define people's identity. This was about All Stars company, and the other one was about shoes, one was about hats, and they were very intelligently done, I have to admit. They were really creative. And actually, the reason why they were able to perform so well on their own, and the thing is they managed to do all this online on their own, because I wasn't even in the country when they were doing it, so they were just, I was available on email, but not anything else. These were the books that we were using, so Signs of Life in the USA, Norton's Field Guide for Writing, and the first part that was actually the practice in writing responses was the 50 essays by Samuel Cohen. And the grading was distributed as it is listed here. So they had to write 3 journals and 3 comments, and literacy narrative, which was their portfolio. That was 15 points out of 100. They had to do research paper and rhetorical analysis, which was 35 points. And the presentation was 15 points. And finally, the written exam, which was formal essay, was worth 25 points, and their participation in class was actually also awarded with 10 points. And I have to say they performed really successfully, and although they were not very pleased with the amount of work they had to do, in the end they did come to a conclusion that now they can do research into field of humanities, and the presentation of it dealing with almost anything. So I thought it was really useful. Thank you. Oh.